what's up? I'm so fucking tired, but you know what? I'm fucking still doing this shit. I'm tired. The gym closed on me. Got a little pissed off. Fucking shit closed on me. Just ran a couple miles. Let's go, guys. It's fucking windy like a bitch. I only slept like 4 hours, but fucking worked out. I'm walking right now. Doing a quick walk. I'm bloated. I've been eating a lot of salt. Sea salt. Yeah, I gotta lay off of that shit. Making me bloated. I lost like 30 pounds, so I'm a little saggy. Lost 30 pounds. Almost here, man. Fucking YouTube just. You gotta have 1 million subscribers, 1 million views. Really, it doesn't go by views now. It goes by. It's like whenever somebody shows up on your home screen, that counts as views. I don't know why I'm bloated. I lost weight so slowly. I lost like 40 pounds. Like 5 pounds voice is sounding what's wrong with my voice. I lost like 5 pounds per month. A pound per week, 5 pounds, 5 to 8. It took me like 4 months. This one like by far, I got these little nice things all the time. It's windy though. It's pretty. It's pretty in person though. These camera phones, the camera you can't. It's not pretty on this shit. Looks weird on the phone, but it's nice, noisy as fuck. I didn't even see these. Maybe in a park. It smells fresh as hell. It smells like the ocean. I know everybody's back there. It smells fresh, like the ocean, like the beach. I guess it'd be the ocean, maybe because the beaches. Maybe it's not that far. But it's cold. There's flowers, right? That's what I like about Miami. They got some nice. There's winter time around the nation over here. You got flowers and that over there. It's nighttime. I'm over here running a couple of miles. It's not free. It's like 75. This is on the phone. Mine definitely hurts like a bitch. Isn't it amazing how the wind, this flower survived with this wind? My left knee hurts because a long time ago I was playing in bed with my girlfriend and I was right next to her after like playing around for a while, like we was just fucking around, like playing, and she like rolled into my knee, like she didn't know I was there, but she knew my leg was there. I was like, my leg was like under her pussy, like under her butt area, and she rolled around right on it, and that shit hurt now. I mean, I do abuse it, but I'm hoping I don't need surgery for this shit. Thanks for hitting the like, guys. 2 million people watching me, plus lurkers. And here, like, people watch on your feed and kind of just check out. Unless if you're not diving off a cliff or you set yourself on fire. It's mighty windy, so sorry about that. God damn, I keep forgetting. Ah, fuck. Every time I keep forgetting about the microphones. It's like I'm buying something at the electronics store. That guy's got like a new phone. Well, yeah, I got like a new phone. And tablets. I'll upgrade like every 2 years. And I'm like, what else do I need? Microphones. Bitch, dang, I forgot. Send them over, bitch. Let's do that shit. Forget the fucking microphones. Because it'll take out the wind. And a lot of people use headphones or earpieces to listen to YouTube. And any little dumb shit that irritates. I got friends that got trucking channels. And this guy works in Hollywood. He does like, you know, he's not a star, but he does like background, like security guards or bus driver. He has connections to get them Hollywood cars, the ones they crash. He'll get like 10 of them for a movie. Plus he has like a trucking company. Man, but this guy, dude, like when he's talking, giving advice to truckers, he starts yelling. He forgets that we got headphones on. He'll be like this low and he just starts fucking screaming. Come on, guys. You know, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, dude, what the fuck? You're hurting my ears. Like any little shit on when you do YouTube. Smash the like, guys. I appreciate that. I really not to see comments because I'm not hitting the weights. It's a Zoom. I suggested, man. And hey, how about sing one? First of all, I'm gonna get like the copyright because YouTube, even if you, it's crazy. It's not just YouTube fault. Why it's so windy that I'm getting cold. I could try, but I don't know if it's gonna skip. Let me see. Long hair. I don't think I really. I'm not bald or anything like that. I mean, I have hair. I could make it longer, but it's just like I don't like managing long hair for some reason. I just get a military fade. But it's never been long though. My hair never been long. We're gone. Come on. I don't even know Michael Jackson words. Like to sing Michael Jackson, I gotta like look at the lyrics. That means I gotta put the life on hold. I don't know the Michael Jackson, like the words. Don't get me wrong, I like Michael Jackson, but the problem, they put my lines, but the problem is that like when I was younger, you know, I used to hear Michael, and I kind of grew up hearing him because he was a boy when he was singing, and you know, I'm trying to like think because this is life. It's not. I don't got nothing written. No, I gotta watch what I say because you know how YouTube is. But I used to like Michael, and then you know a lot of things happened in my life You know, my mom was abused by my dad and all that shit. And you know, this way, it cuts off the wind. Oh, I got better projection. Did you hear my voice change? Better projection. But it's background music. I probably get copyrighted. Oh, fuck it. But anyway, so Prince, I mean, Michael, you know, I used to love hearing his music. I had any, you know, I didn't have anything against it. It's just, I think that, damn, I'm so bloated. A lot of water. So, you know, when I used to hear Michael, that was cool. And he had good production. But the problem was that you know, he went on his own and did Thriller. And then a lot of child accusations came out. Kind of like, there's a YouTuber now from, I think he's from Estonia, pro-life traveler. He's going through the same shit now. Because I like, his name is Sin Umbasa, some shit from Estonia. But he's hanging up with, you know, too many little kids. He'll go everywhere. And in the Philippines, you know, we understand, that's everywhere here too in America. You know, if you need money, you know what I mean? If you're poor, you need money and all that. And the Philippines is different because it's more relaxed. Like in here, if you see a kid with a grown up, people will probably get in the middle and see what's going on, right? Most of the time. But in the Philippines, it's like all these 25 kids following you as you know, they think you're a big time star in YouTube or whatever. And then you're buying them ice cream and giving them money. You know, that's kind of cringy here in the States. I kept telling him that in his comments. I said, look, pro-life traveler, you know, you have to stop that. Let me read the comments. Yeah, but those were only accusations. He got proven innocent in '05. Yeah, you look youthful from face. No blow. Oh, okay. You got my niece's name. I do admit it sounds weird for average person, but it was proven. Yeah, you see, I'm gonna tell you how it was proven. First of all, when the judge says, you know, you're going through this mess because you're messing around with little kids. Back then, they didn't have strong laws like now. The children are protected more. They got Megan's Law, named after the girl Megan, that got abused by an adult. So anybody under 18 is a kid. Like on YouTube, if you come on your channel, I'll read the comments, but I'll talk and read the comments, okay? A kid in the United States is 13 years old, you know? And it's like a long story. If you're 13 on YouTube, you cannot have your own channel because you're a kid. You have to be over 18, right? But YouTube just says that, but they never protected it. So a lot of people had kids with YouTube channels because, you know, they'd be entertained. But when they start their YouTube channel, they don't say their age. They'll say, you know, they'll lie about it, but they're not saying their true age. And the problem with that is that an 8-year-old kid is going to see some fresh commercials from condoms and stuff like that, maybe graphic stuff, because of the fact that your channel is geared towards over 21, 18. So that's why YouTube never said nothing, because you know, if you have a kids channel, kids don't work and kids don't buy commercials, right? They don't buy commercial stuff. If you got an advertisement for a car, you know, a retired person or somebody working is going to buy that car. Little kids don't have money, so YouTube don't make money on those channels, and for a lot of years they never said nothing. So when the little boy or girl said they're 21, they're still little kids, and you got fresh commercials, and then you got people that goes to your email saying, hey, meet me at the corner, you know, meet me around the store, I'm gonna buy you candy or whatever. You had a lot of that stuff going on around YouTube because these little kids, they lied about their age. So a lot of parents in New York got together and said, hey, this has to stop. Like the DA in New York sued the shit out of YouTube like a few years back, like 5, 8 years ago, 7 years, I think it was. And they all got together, right? They said, hey, you know, like the number one channel on YouTube was Brian's Toys. He was this guy's like a millionaire. He's like 8 years old, and he looks at toys, and he reviews it. Right? That's his channel, but that's a kid's channel. But the advertisement was making money off of this little kid. That the commercials didn't match his little kid, and nobody gave a f on YouTube because they were making a lot of money. And then the people, when the parents got together, they said that's wrong. Let's go for it. We're gonna sue the shit out of YouTube. So YouTube got sued, like $80 million. YouTube they're rich as fuck. 80 million is nothing, but they got 80 million. Of course, they made 2 billion, so they took a violation to make money off of kids, knowing that they're kids, that the channel, they could see the kid on the channel. It's not a grown-up channel, but the basis of the channel was grown up, like when they first started it. They didn't say that the kid was 7 years old because then that channel has to go into like the kids' YouTube channel area, which doesn't make money for YouTube. So they never say shit because they never could have made money off of YouTube. Even with 26 million subscribers, they're not going to make as much as if the channel would have advertisers paying YouTube to sell cars to a little 7-year-old, or condoms and shit like that, or porn movies or whatever. So the parents got mad. YouTube, that's why they're real strict right now with copyrights, because before you do a video, the first thing they ask you is, are there kids in here, or is this for kids or is it for adults? Now you put it in obviously for adults, right? Because you're a big channel, whatever. But if you're gonna bring your little grandkids into the channel, you could probably put it in there for kids. So like that, at least YouTube doesn't hit your channel with some dumb shit. Because YouTube gonna see a kid in there, and you're a grown-up channel. So now you can see why they're strict, because they got that lawsuit from the Federal Trade Commission, for the Federal Communication Commission, the parents in the New York and the state of New York. So. And then before that, after that, the same year, the European Union directive, that's like the copyright of Europe. So they got strict with videos, with news, with everybody saying, like, if there's music, even if you're at the mall, outside or whatever, in public, you gotta like kind of declare it, edit it. Because now, even if they see like a little Nike symbol, the copyright infringement is real strict now. So YouTube, before in the past, if YouTube was hit with a copyright, they'll tell you to stop it. And it was not that much money. But now it's like a lot of money that YouTube has to pay because you fucked up. You didn't like edit your video or whatever. You didn't do the proper things to avoid that copyright. And because now the new European directive has the world plus the United States pay this shit up front, like the copyright money and all that for the penalty. Now YouTube doesn't want to play around, because every day there's millions of channels making get involved with copyright claims and all that, and strikes. And now they're paying a lot of money for that. In the past they didn't. So now they just delete your channel. If you keep fucking up doing copyrights and all that, three strikes are out. They don't even mess around no more, because they're paying a lot of money for your mistakes. All right, let me read some of this chat. Whoa, I missed a lot of chat here. All right, let me see. Okay, how about using the same thing? Let me go down. I'm walking out so I could read this. Looks highly. Oh, that was the water thing. Y'all can keep commenting. I'm gonna catch up. Bloated. I do admit, sounds weird. Average person. He was proven okay. Yeah, yeah, he was proven innocent. But the reason is so much money. First of all, you don't be messing around with little kids when you're 40 years old. Like, like that. Anywhere else you're gonna get beat up. Just because you're a star doesn't mean you don't have dick in the balls. And if you're gonna fuck somebody, you're gonna. It doesn't mean just because you're a superstar, that's your job. Having sex with kids or inappropriate whatever, it doesn't matter if you're a star or not. You don't use that to your advantage. Oh, kids love me because I sing good and I'm Michael, whatever. Now you have a whole bunch of kids in your bed. You know what's going to happen next. And first of all, why? The reason I like Prince instead of Michael was because Prince would show you hot girls with sexy outfits and sing around that, and that was his life. And then they compared him to Michael. Yeah. Oh well, Prince looks like Michael. Prince never in his life had plastic surgery. If anything, Michael looks like Prince with his plastic surgery. If you look at an old young picture of Michael Jackson with the big fat black person nose, the lips, he looked black with a big afro hair. Prince has a whole different look that Michael copied. Oh no, well Prince looks like Michael. No, in the long run, just Google this shit, Chat GPT it. It'll tell you who looked like who. If you go back to Prince when he was a teenager in his first album in 1978 and Michael Jackson 1978 album, look at Michael and look at Prince. Michael looks like a black person. Prince looks like he's white. Green eyes, straight hair, white skin. He didn't get plastic surgery, never in his life. Michael had like 25 plastic surgeries and he kind of looked like Prince because of the fact that that's just the way he looked like. I don't know if he named his kid Prince. Michael Jackson named his kid Prince. They were friends. They never were enemies. They were friends growing up. I know Prince makes music like 28 instruments or whatever. He plays every fucking shit. He's a real musician. Michael had 32 producers. Prince never had a producer. He made 54 albums. But he produced the shit himself. Michael had 30 plus producers. So you tell me who's the real musician, who makes real music, produces it. Obviously Prince. So when I kind of, I like Prince from the beginning. He never had no issues with young kids, with young boys. Michael had this shit all every fucking 2 or 3 years, and it was like when I hear Michael's music, I'm thinking, this guy's singing to little kids, little boys, 8-year or 7-year-old boys in his bedroom. I wasn't there to see what he did. Yeah, and then let me see. You said that he was let go, right? He was not and the reason for that was his lawyers. It's like this. I'm gonna give an example. I come up to you and I say, hey, do you want to fight this in court? We have money. Michael Jackson have a lot of money. We can make you waste all of your money. You're going to be broke. We could fight you. We have money for 10 years to fight you. You don't have money for 10 days. So you want to pick a choice. We'll give you $10 million. You shut the fuck up and you drop the case. Boom. Okay. Because they don't have money to fight. And obviously you take the 10 million. So now once they take the 10 million, you'll see Michael Jackson with his lawyers saying, you see? All they wanted was money. Michael is innocent. Get the fuck out. Everybody knows if you're a lawyer how that shit works. Now the whole world sees that they took $10 million and, oh, well, Michael Jackson didn't do shit to the boys. They wanted $10 million, $30 million. They did that shit throughout the years. And we all know how that goes. So still, I wasn't there to see Michael do this. But if I get in trouble with little girls, little boys, and the judge says, never in your life be near little boys like that no more. And then and that's an order from the court. They gave him like 2 or 3 orders saying stay away from kids. All he did was ignore it and went back to the kids and got in trouble again. Like, what energy is this for little boys? I get it. I get it. Your childhood was fucked up. Your dad hit you. That shit happened to me every day. My dad almost ran me over with a car because he was mad. So, you get over it. And the fact that your dad did that to make you rich and famous and a lot of money, I won't be bitching. I won't be saying, "Oh, my childhood was taken." You could have your child anytime you want. You know, whenever there's interviews with Michael, Michael's in a YouTube studio voluntarily watching Stevie Wonder make music in Motown, where his label was at. All of the years goes in there. I'm talking like all weird. Throughout the years, let me walk. Throughout the years, Michael voluntarily gave up his childhood to learn music, and he even admitted it whenever they interviewed him. You know, nobody had a gun to his head. His friends were playing or whatever the fuck, right? He's a kid. He even admitted it. He watched all the big singers make music, and he learned off this shit. So now he's saying, "Oh, they forced me with a gun to make music and take away my childhood." No, I mean, if you're rich, you know, you can still have friends and all that. It doesn't make them no special. All right, let me read some of these comments because I'm just doing a live with no structure here. Can we work around it? Yes, manager. Come on, Michael Jackson. Listen. I'm listening. Oh, okay. Listen to your story. You look. Thanks, Tiara. Who is this? I'll make him a moderator. Standard. Zoom, you're a moderator. Zoom Sheeny. Even Macaulay Culkin, the kid from used to hang out. You see, the thing with Michael, his victims even said it. He like those little kids, blonde hair, blue eyes, looking European. You know, McCollum, I mean, when you're a star that big, and to be honest, I don't think Michael found McCollum, you know, that sexy. And even if he did, he was so young that, you know, when you're in the presence of Michael and somebody powerful, you forget things. You don't block it. I'm thinking, and first of all, how do we know if he didn't do nothing to McCollum or he doesn't remember? So that's just one kid out of the hundreds and hundreds that came out, according to Michael's lawyers, that came out, and Michael had to pay them. Most of them, they wind up on the internet. Like, you didn't get this shit on the internet. You know, and heaven knows, you know, it's the same thing with all these stars now, right? You know, you got Cosby. He was drugging up females, and I believed it because I did security with Cosby in Temple University when that's where he graduated from. He would show up there, and then I had females tell me stories. There was no internet back then. And then when you have money like that, like Cosby, you could buy a newspaper for 2 or 3 years, 2 or 3 months, and your story will never come out. You know, so in Philadelphia, he was doing shit like that. Before, now after the internet hit, Jesus Christ, man, I don't believe people buy cars with that loud ass engine. You know, he after the internet started getting popular, more shit came out. Easier and faster. You didn't need no fucking newspaper. That's why all these females came out. You don't need a newspaper, a shit that's like done on paper to read news that takes forever and is like kind of restricted. On the internet, you could get the whole fucking police files and lawyers files for the shit that he was doing. Not with Cosby, not Michael. You know, Cosby was fucking drugging up females and then getting young models, which was proven from whatever Ford agency or some shit from Colorado. Same thing, the same people that was sending models, little girls to Epstein, same motherfuckers, right? So now you have these girls thinking they want to be a star. They want to be, you know what I mean? They want to be the shit, right? And they're working with Cosby. And in the meantime, Cosby's putting shit in their drinks, fucking them up. They wake up with their panties wet and everything. And then Cosby tells the parents, hey, you know, you either shut up or I'll take your girl to college or whatever the fuck, right? I'll pay for the 4 years. She maintains a C average on under the Bill Cosby Foundation, and that's it. Or you could go to court with me and fight me and lose. Now you have shit. So all these parents were fucked by these rich, powerful people, and I was never near Michael Jackson in my life, so I don't know about his shit. I believe the kids. I think that you're stupid if you go chase a rich super guy like Michael just to try to get a lawsuit. So I don't think these kids were doing that. I think he was doing shit to these kids. And I know who said that shit. Who said that? McCallum Calkin. McCallum, right? He's here. He likes European kids, right? That's why he would go to Europe somewhere and do that Michael Jackson when they're looking for a TV little kid to dance, like for the Pepsi commercial that looks like Michael. He'll do concerts that nobody knew about, that were secret concerts for the same purpose. These little kids were flown into the States, taken advantage of. You don't tell a mother, hey, can I, sleep with your kid? They're like 40 something years old. Even if you're 21 or 16, you don't do that shit. And that's what he did a lot. He would buy the parents a house, a car. That's called grooming. Nobody knew about grooming back then because the internet right now has fucking psychologists everywhere telling you what the fuck these bad people are doing psychologically. That's called grooming. You treat the parents, get them a new car, a new house, and sure, it's Michael. You can sleep with my son. Yeah, no problem. And then the kid says, hey, fuck, he sucked my little wiener or whatever the fuck he did, right? So when you have that money, you fight it in court. That's what Michael did. That's what Bill was doing for a few years. Bill Cosby, he's from my hometown, Philly. I used to do security where he graduated from his school, and I saw his reactions. I kind of believed everything they said because I could tell, by his character that he would do that. But when you have money and shit like that, you can never really, there's no internet, so we didn't have updated information. Now with the internet, Bill Cosby was asking 16-year-old girls back in the 60s when he was famous for his TV show. I don't know how bad this wind is. He was asking these girls to the Playboy Mansion, with the sexy dress shit. The 16-year-old girls that he would meet like in the street. And they were like making campaigns back then. It's popping up now. Original pictures, shit like that proved what he did and said in the Playboy Mansion. You could just Google this shit. So, a lot of people say, oh, he's clean, but they don't research nothing. They don't go, researching stuff. And that's what I do. I kind of went back and said, whoa. And I just track all these cases. Now, the last one was when he had sex with a lawyer, lady coach of the basketball team in college. Again, I'm bumbling my words because I didn't write this. This is all off of my head. And I was there in security. I would talk to this female every day. Hey, how you doing, Josephine? And she was smart, studying to be a lawyer. And then, she mentioned it. And I kind of knew about it. And I knew what the fuck he did before the whole world did. And he hid it by buying up the newspaper time, the ledgers. So that's what he did. And again, I'll read the comments in a little bit. Let me walk up. So how did he get away with it? Well, I'm giving you the facts on how he did it. Now, he did go to prison, if you remember, for like a year because he admitted to doing all this. He admitted to drugging him up to relax him, right? He admitted to that, Bill Cosby. So now Bill Cosby is on a deposition, like on a court thing, being recorded. Now, that was like in 2012 when they said, you give us your information, we're not going to put it out there. It's going to be sealed forever. But the Pennsylvania lawyer fucked up because he went back there, had that open, and because of that, technically, that's a fucked up situation. So they let Cosby go technically because the lawyer fucked up by getting a sealed document and having it open. So, but in that document, he admitted to drugging up the young girls from the modeling agency, sending them to college through his foundation. And even then, and David being like a little prick because he's rich and famous to the judge there during during the deposition, admitting to every fucking thing he did. That's why he went to jail. But because they opened it illegally, they had to let him go, which is a difference. Yeah, okay, they let him go, and you can see how happy he was, like he was innocent. People don't know why they let him go. I researched it. I found out, oh fuck, he's still guilty. They just let him go because of technicalities. They opened up the documents that were not supposed to be, open. So that's why he's free right now. He was already prosecuted for being a fucking child raper and raping females and all that. He was going to pay the price. But obviously, shit like that with the So again, when you say, well, he was innocent in 2005, it's just more than that. When you buy somebody off, of course you look innocent. That's the reason you do it. Now the last cases, he had to go to court. The one that he won because the kid was on welfare, some shit where they did that before. But I still believe him. I still, because when I saw the video when he was being interviewed with the kid that accused him, that kid looked cringed out. Like Michael, he's so fucking horny for kids, he doesn't realize. So he's taking an interview with the world to see him. He's holding the kid's hand like a girl. Instead of getting a fucking girlfriend or some shit and doing that to her, he's doing it to kids because that's his excitement. And he uses his famous singing and famous powers to hide that. Oh, I was abused, so I like to hold this little kid that's 16. I want to hold his hand. I'm pretty sure you hold him more than just his hand. And you can tell the kid is not comfortable. And that's the kid that lost the case too, Michael, because his mom did some fucked up shit with welfare. And she was trying to get money and all that, which is, I don't know why they're relating that. That's like a whole different thing than her kid getting fucked by Michael. But they said, well, she had experience from that before, so we're going to drop the charges on Michael. And again, the way he was excited, jumping in the car. Like, if I was innocent, I'd like make up a foundation to protect kids. I'm not going to, he was surprised that they let him go. He was shocked. So he's jumping like a monkey on top of the car, celebrating that. And that was his last one. Then he died or whatever. All right, let me go back. Sorry. Even Monday, cutting kids from home alone. Dang, I didn't know that. Thank you for the knowledge. Say hi. How much money I help you? Yeah, I'm poor, my family rich. Oh, okay. Respond. RN. What? RN needs money? Be aware, some of these people, you got to check them out before you send money. You don't want to be funding drinking and partying. And I had a lot of times when people say, I need money. And then I say, let me see some pictures from the hospital. They'll send me a picture from the internet, which is easy to research. So I went on and checked out the picture, and it was not their family. It was a picture from the internet saying that they were in a hospital and they needed money for this and that. So now, unless if I know you or if I communicate with you, I won't send money no more like that. Say Ben, bro, Michael Jackson was top tier, yeah, since he was 6. Well, he developed, I don't know what else you said after that. I'm just going to respond to that. That's the one I read. But yeah, I'm not saying Michael Jackson was not a great singer. He's a great singer, but he doesn't know how to read music, how to compose, how to arrange it, how to put the instrument together to make a song. He has producers. He has like more than 32 producers in his year of singing. So there's a big difference. Like Beyonce does her own music, right? She produces. Obviously, she might get like a little help, But the main stuff that she does is produce, her own. Um, you have Madonna when she was arranging and producing songs. Well, she did have other producers. Don't get me wrong, but Madonna had a insight to how to write music and words and all that. Michael does too, but without a producer, Michael cannot do that on his own because he would have done that already. If you see his album, it'll say producer in there. Look at all Prince 54 albums. The producer is himself, producer, writer, and all that. It's Prince. It's not like others producers. So now he did have a few remixes that the producers came in to remix the songs and all that to do a remix, but that doesn't count when you're developing a song. So yeah, Michael is a talented singer. He dances great. Well, obviously Chris Rock, Usher might be better than him, but still Michael is original. He does his nice little dancing, whatever it is he does. But that's not the same as being a musician. Prince dances more than Prince jumps off a piano on stage with high heels on and lands on his feet and breaks dance. If Michael did that, he'll break bones. So he's a good dancer, but Prince is more athletic, more in terms of dancing. So you're gonna compare. If you go to a live concert, you see Michael doing his little back steps, his little spins. You don't see him jumping off pianos, jumping off the stage, like into the air, doing splits and then landing, and then break dancing. As he's singing. Dang, I don't know, my throat came out like that. When he's singing, you could hear him breathing through the splits. And Michael is more like it's fucking lip sync. Every fucking music that he plays is lip sync on the stage. He might do something live and put words in between and make it look real. But if I hear him singing Thriller the same way, identical 99% that I hear from the album, that means he's not singing live. When you have an engineered album in the studio, the music comes at you way different, more organized, more through channels, like 4 tracks, 6 tracks, whatever they use. You hear everything so clear, and his breathing like he's just standing there singing, right? But when you hear somebody doing this shit live, you can hear the in between stuff, and you can hear that with Prince. Every fucking single stage performance is live, no fucking lip sync, and you know it is. When you play the music back and forth, you can hear it. If I hear Michael singing Thriller and it sounds identical to fucking Thriller from the album, he's lip syncing. And when the words don't match his movement, his lips are off sync, he's covering his mouth to cover the errors, right? All that. That's what I'm saying. Like, Michael's a great entertainer, which is great, a great singer, so I'm not taking away nothing from Michael. And Michael, without Quincy Jones, the producer of Thriller, would have never been that successful. No way in this world. Quincy is one of the best producers in the history of music. Quincy Jones, right? That was his producer. So, and again, I'm not saying that Michael is worthless. I'm not discounting him. I'm not taking shit away from him. But Michael is not as talented as other musicians like Prince, especially because they were friends. They grew up together. Prince was going to Michael Jackson concerts when they were kids. Michael did the same. Prince dated 2 of Michael's sisters when they were teenagers. Again, you go Google all this shit. He never had issues with underage boys. None of that stuff. Prince, you could tell he liked girls, right? He looked feminine just like Michael. But they, all right, let me walk in and read this. Bro, Michael, artist, Thriller, Prince, listen. Okay, I'm not saying that Prince is bigger than Michael, right? That's not the point. We're talking about musicians, right? Music people. Prince did everything himself, plays 28 instruments, mastered 28 instruments, drums, guitar, bass, um, piano, whatever you can imagine. Prince mastered it when he was like 8 years old, 9 years old. His first song was 9. You know, Michael had producers making him a song at 9, 8 years old. Michael didn't have that talent. When Prince could play 28 instruments at the age of 9 compared to Michael at the age of 9, now Michael is more famous. He was around as a little boy, and he had good production with his brothers, like the Jackson 5. So we know Michael from that. So obviously, Thriller again, one of the best albums, in history, right? But Michael name is on there, but so is Quincy Jones and a few other producers, which proves my point. Prince never had other producers on his music. So when you compare the talent level, you know what I mean? So that's the point. Like, I'll give you an example. There's a movie called Endgame. It's a Marvel movie, right? It's like a comic strip superhero. And that's like the #1 movie of all time. That's the #1 movie in the history, right? Because a lot of people saw it. Big time movie, right? Big time. But the second one is called Gone with the Wind. That's been around since the 1930s, a long time, more than 100 years. That movie is old-fashioned, it's old, but it's a great story. And it's the second best movie if you adjust the sales for inflation and ticket sales. It would beat, obviously, Endgame. But right now, Endgame is #1 kicking ass. Like, it's way behind in front of Gone with the Wind. So when you compare the two movies with sales of prices and inflation, Gone with the Wind is top. When you compare Prince albums that were sold less than a Thriller, again, I'm not saying that Michael is like second or whatever, but you're comparing true talent, true storytelling. Like, Purple Rain has heartfelt stories, has these emotional storylines compared to zombies waking up from the dead or things of that nature, right? Like when you have the kid is not his or whatever. I forgot the name of that song. Compared to real love theories from the album, from the Purple Rain. When you look at the quality, the true story of each, right? It's not comparable. The one Michael threw out like a kid's album, which is pretty cool. I liked it, to be honest, when I first heard it. But the mature sounds of Prince, the sexuality, the more fun factors, when you're giving your music to girls, it's kind of different. Michael had, even back then, accusations, right? He had, you could just look this up, shit up, and he just shrugged it off because he was rich and famous. He knew he couldn't be touched. You know what I mean? So I wasn't there to see it, but that's just the difference between why I picked that one particular singer versus, what I mean, like another. You have great singers like Cher. Cher's been, she's like a singer from the old days. She's been around since the 60s, right? And she's still kicking ass. She's pushing 80 years old. Her whole life, she never depended upon, she did it her, she's a female that did it. And the quality of her records versus somebody like Britney that sold 20 or 30 million, right? Hit Me With Your Best Shot, whatever, versus a Cher song about love, or Barbara Streisand. Barbara Streisand is a female singer. Her quality, just because you sell a billion records doesn't mean like it's relevant. It just means like a lot of people like to hear the sound. But when you're a true person that hears it, in terms of quality, then you start kind of evaluating it. differently, you know. And again, I still like Michael, but the fact that he just went over. Let me read comments. Hold on, I'm gonna start. The way he music behind the scenes. I don't blame you. See, too many Michael Jackson, whatever. I'm telling you, bro. Michael Jackson. Well, yeah, and I agree to that. I'm not. I'm not making a statement to discredit him or discount him. I watched him as a boy singing with his brothers. You know, I watched him develop into like individual. You know, into the individual singer, and it's great. I'm not taking that away from him. I like that, but the personal life, the personal aspect of the accusation is different. Um, you know, it was consistent, and I don't know. I mean, it was consistent on a large scale for a lot of years, and I tried like okay, I try to ignore it, but then some other shit. And this is me. I don't know how old you are, but this is me as I'm growing up, even as an adult, and I'm like, okay, just when I thought, you know, I could be swayed, like I could be pushed toward the Michael Jackson side, you know, something, you know, Prince will come up with controversies such as not honoring his contract because they're taking his money. All the artists are getting fucked by the producers, right? And all that shit. So Prince is known for, you know, putting in like the word slave in this, you know, as he's making controversy, none of it has to do with boys in his bedroom accusing him of shit. You know what I mean? It's none of that. So for me, you know what I mean? Like I'm thinking, I'm trying with Michael, and all I get is new court cases, new lawsuits of little boys. You know, his wife, Lisa Marie, told him for our anniversary, I don't want you to bring all these little boys. And he says, okay, no. And even the judge says, stay away from these little boys. They're fucking up your shit. So the first thing he does, he gets off the plane. There's like 50 boys, like outside waiting for him, like little boys, like 5, 6, 8 years old, dancing like him. And he's grabbing all these little boys, even though his wife told him on TV not to bring these little boys to the anniversary. First thing he does is that. He lands the airplane, little fucking boys everywhere. You know, and he's all comfortable with that shit. Your wife just told you not to bring. If my wife's telling, you know, or girlfriend telling me that shit, even, you know, anything, don't fucking make eggs, whatever the fuck. I'll be like, okay, you know, because I don't want to fuck her up, you know, to be, for her to be mad at me. But that's the point. He just does shit like that, and then he got fucked again. You know, with that, a guy interviews him from India, and he, hey, look, don't ask me these dumb questions. I forgot the guy. He's an Indian interviewer, so he says, okay, I won't. And so he's doing this live shit, and Michael gets shocked by the very first question. Why are you sleeping with boys? You're a 40-year-old man. And he's in shock. He didn't believe he was, you know, he thought he could buy his way out of this shit. You know, so, you know, the guy's asking him shit like, how can you be in bed with 5, 6 boys at nighttime with no parents there? And he says the world needs love, innocent love from boys. Like, you know, he's mentally fucked up. You know, like this world needs the innocence of love from boys, and you don't understand. And he's like, well, you're a 46-year-old man. I know, but we're not doing. Okay, Michael, you're fuck everything else, you know. Now, I know he died, and his family, because, you know, he makes money from, you know, because he's dead or whatever. Fuck, his catalog is still making money, like his old music. So the new generation of his family is trying to protect his name, so like that people hear it and download it and get paid. So they're like saying, oh, you know, he was great. They were always hating him. Who the fuck hates? Like, it's the kids accusing you of touching them. It's not the people. Oh, they hated him. Who? You know, all these like little cousins and all that shit. They go on stage and shows like a podcast and all that. And, you know, just protecting his legacy because they're making a lot of money. There's no other reason. Well, how about his two kids? All right, they don't look like Michael Jackson. His two kids, whatever the fuck their names are, or three, they look like white kids. If you see Michael, he has a big fat nose. He looked like a black man. All he did was get plastic surgery and get white skin. So that they look like Michael after plastic surgery. But if you look at Michael without that shit, go back in the 60s and 70s, look how he looked. He looked like a fucking black guy, right? Big afro, big nose, lips, And these kids got blue eyes, blonde hair. They're not his kids. So you know how you can fix this? Get a fucking DNA kit and send it in front of live TV, and they'll tell you that's his kid, but they never do that. They rather fucking argue, and that's weird. Okay, prove it. Prove it. Prove that. But they never want to fucking do that shit. They always have an excuse. Oh, we don't have to prove nothing. But okay, whatever. Then stop saying that's his kids. It doesn't look like, they look like white kids. They don't look like black kids. But even then and there, okay, get the fucking DNA test, right? Okay, it's not your kids, whatever. It's your kids, whatever. Let's prove it. But that's the shit that goes on with this family. And now, they went to the Breakfast Club, and Charlemagne, the guy, like he's like a guy from the internet. This is a big show from LA, and his where the fuck it was, his nephew. They had like one hit. He had like three nephews. They had like one hit, if you could call it that, and they don't have the talent. So they're living off his fucking wealth. So they want him to have a clean pass, like the new generation. Download this shit. They're asking him this shit, like, I'm gonna read that comment right there. Hold on. They're asking him shit like, when they went into his room, they found like thousands of pictures of porn pictures with kids. Oh well, that's because the parents love Michael so much that they send him pictures of nude kids with balls and dick hanging out. Like how much do you love? I mean, like that's fucking. That's fucking borderline, pornography. You're sending that to Michael to get him in trouble. He had thousands of that shit hiding in a room. Then not only that, he had, again, you could Google this shit. Animal sex. Like with horses and fucking camels. Michael used to like that shit. So now they're interviewing his nephew, and his nephew's response was, well, that's not against the law. What? Okay, animal sex is not against the law, I guess. But it's fucking Michael Jackson. How about that part? Like, your whole life you go around singing whatever the fuck songs, right? Thriller. But now they got thousands of pictures of you with animal sex fucking films, videos, and books, right? Animal sex, right? Forget the boys at this. So his response was, oh, well, if they did find it, which they did, right? The sheriff. Their response is, oh, it's just not against the law to have animal sex pictures. What? But he's Michael Jackson. How come he never sang about that shit? I love the fucking donkey dick, Thriller, or my fucking horse dick. Like, yeah, like if you're such a special talent and clean, but you're fucking doing animal sex, you're fucking having kids over and heaven knows what. Like, nothing fucking normal with this dude. After that, I just gave up, man. I tried. I said, I just can't. It's just so, when you get a new shit coming up, animal pictures, and then his nephew is saying it's not against the law, but he's not saying, oh, well, maybe Michael did have a fucked up thing in his brain. No, they're making it seem normal because they want to get that legacy money. Like, when they sell records now that he's dead, they want to make sure he's clean. So that's all they do, go around the nation. Now, again, it's not about talent. It's not about one record, Thriller, and being big time. It's not about that. It's about the shit in between, the personal stuff that I'm concerned. And again, I will always love his music. I think I like his early music. I don't think he was hurting kids. I think when he became famous, maybe late 70s, I think that's when he started fucking with the little kids, with the little boys. So I like his shit early stuff, but anything after that, I'm thinking, well, he's singing to boys. You know, the girl is mine, the doggone girl is mine. Yeah, the dog gone. Like he might be singing to a fucking dog, like the lyrics of that song. The girl is mine, the dog gone, like the dog gone girl is mine. Dog, roof roof, girl, the dog. Man, I don't know. It's thriller shit. I didn't, you know. The girl from that video, Google this shit, was one of Prince's ex-girlfriends. The one that he was from Thriller. Yeah. So they knew each other. They were like giving information out to each other's girls. Prince never knew this motherfucker was gonna be this intertwined with fucking kids, though. But you know, just Google this shit. The girl from the hot little chick, the one he's watching the movies with. Yeah, that's Prince's ex-girlfriend. Just Google this shit. But there you go. Why do I like Prince? Well, that's one reason. You know, did I miss something? Let me stop walking. Leg way. You know. Yeah, that's right. It's just what? Taste. It's just taste, yeah. Gig, bro. Oh, I'm back. I'm black. Oh, you're black? I got a lot of black friends. I grew up with them. I have no. The ones that concern me is the ones that got the pants hanging on the waistline, shooting people. Those are the ones, you know, the ones in Chicago. For me, it's more like it's cool, you know. But you know, they kill their own selves up there in Tennessee and all that. I mean, those are the ones I stay away from. They'll slice your neck in a second and kill you. Crazy. You know, Obama was black. You know, he two-time president right there. Right, Zoom. Two-time and chosen by the people. No cheating, no nothing. Chosen by the people. Obama was straight up one of the best presidents that went down. You don't get two back to back like that unless if you're good, you know. Obama was up there. I think we'll probably get a black female president soon. I'm not from the U.S., by the way. Forget. Oh, okay. Well, YouTube is worldwide. I get people from like Russia. My main people is the United States, but I get people from India, Philippines, Russia, like 5 different other worldly, you know. But my main people that subscribe and watch me is USA. Well, according to my thing there, my the metrics. Egypt. I would love to one day visit there, like near. There's an airport on there, I think. Nigeria. That boxer guy is from Egypt, right? Anthony. Thanks, buddy. Zoom. Anthony Joshua is from. I think he got in a car accident was it 2 weeks ago? Joshua, Anthony Joshua. He was fighting Jake. Anthony Joshua is from, I think he's from Egypt, Nigeria. The boxing guy. He killed his 2 friends, and he was driving his car, and then somebody hit him. Oh, I don't know. I think he hit somebody. Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah, yeah, Nigeria. I thought he was Egyptian. They're separated though, right? They're not close. Nigeria, yeah. I know he hit something and killed his trainer and somebody else. They look like they were big into bodybuilding. So probably his two trainers he killed. They showed like pictures of the two guys. They look pretty big, like weightlifters. Tell me what do you know about Egypt? I grew up in school. We had a few Egyptian that went to college through the exchange program, foreign exchange program. And so I met like different Egyptians, people from Israel, basically girls. Like, I like girls. So I think I dated one Egyptian. I forgot her name. One, she was in my English writing course. And I remember dating her. But then the next year, there was like a couple of cheerleaders, and I was hot and horny for them. And, I was single anyway, but I kind of started talking. They were from Poland, and I forgot the other. And then I met one from Israel. She was a volleyball player, so I kind of started messing with her. She was strong though, big legs and big back. That's how I know different races, like different. I never left the United States, but I think Americans have nothing to do. The problem is that they let too many foreigners, and then they have bad intentions to take over power because there's so many. And then, like the Somalians, the situation in Minnesota, certain democratic groups or whatever, they do things for votes, and they don't see like the people that's there, you know, they're not good Somalians. Like it's like 85 caught doing the bad things, stealing money. For me, I understand if you got to come to America for freedom, but then be part of America. Don't be hating us and just being here for money. That's what these other people do. Oh, you never left Egypt. How old are you now? My kneecap hurts. So I can't run like I'm used to. Right. Yeah, I love it here. Um, I mean, there's no reason. Yeah, we have. So you studying? Are you still in school? Yeah, it's different people. I was looking at that report, um, and the thing is that most of them don't they don't want to assimilate with your country. They just want to get away, but then they don't want to be kind of part of it. And then there's like a little hate, and then they start having babies and growing, and kind of adding to that more, And here, when immigrants came a long time ago, They literally kissed the land, loved it, wanted to be American. Now it's the opposite. They land here, and they're looking for ways how to steal money. They have hate. All they do is, then they take cheap jobs because, you know, like they take the jobs, not cheap jobs, but like in trucking. You know, they bring the prices down so we can't negotiate for more money because they're taking our jobs and doing it for cheap for a lot less. And they're just taking jobs left and right. They're doing anything. They don't give an opportunity to Americans because obviously we're going to ask for more because we pay rent here. Our rent is expensive, but they pay rent. They live in shit holes and crappy places. Some of them live in the trucks. They live in the cars. They live in hotels. We're paying for property and cars and insurance. So our jobs are being affected because they're taking our jobs since they don't have bills, they don't have payments. They take it for a little bit of money. They send it back to the country for a lot of money, you know, and then we get what you call undercut. Like they take our profits away because they're the Americans are giving the money to the you know obviously if I ask for $1,000 and then somebody from another country asks for 300 or 400, you know what I mean, they're gonna give it to that guy 300 or 400. Now I'm out of work. I can't take it for 300 or 400 because that's how much it costs for fuel to operate the machinery, right? It costs that much. So now I can't make money because if I take what they're taking, my rent is 5 times more. My bills, their bills is not that much. So they're going to take a little bit of money. If I got to fix something on my truck, if I got to fix something on my engine, right? These things are expensive, right? If I got to do that and, take money that doesn't cover fixing engine, the parts and all that. So if I take, money, that means when I get a breakdown, I got to pay for it myself because the money is not paying it. So that's what the foreigners do here. They take our jobs. They take insurance off of us, taxes, and live. They come in here saying they want to be productive and help us move, but they're in here on welfare, on subsidies, on free government money for like 10 years. So they promise one thing, but they take advantage. Yeah, exactly. We can't love Egypt and want Egypt first. Like, if you go to war with the home country, they can't be. Yeah, that was a report on that on YouTube when they asked like Cuban girls, right? They did a quick video, and they said, hey, if the United States went to war with Cuba, that's your country, whatever. Who would you fight with, us or your own country, Cuba? Even though they're here, even though they they pledge allegiance to the flag and us, like that's what you do when you come here. They rather fight with Cuba, which is crazy, or any country. China, you got people living here from China, and then you ask them that, they'll say the same thing. Like, okay, you pledge an allegiance to be an American citizen and to fight for the flag and fight for your land, not to fight for China. So why you here? Oh, I forgot why you're here. You're making fucking money. That's the only reason they're here. They're getting money. They're saving it. You know what I mean? They're keeping it, sending it back over there. So that's not pledging an allegiance. Yeah, Egypt, you can't have people who our president is deporting. Yeah, and we already have a bit of a relation problem. Oh, I didn't know it's that many. 110. Yeah, over here, 70 million foreigners in less than 10 years. 70, almost the population of your country. So in here is the population of Nigeria, Egypt in here, wherever your province is, here, and almost is the population of your country, 70 plus million, and I'm all for it. But these people are living off the free government food and rent and medical. They're living off of that. You say you want to come here and be American and support and do American stuff, but you're not. You're freaking living for free. And the problem is, I have money because I have a trucking business, but when I go shopping, I watch what I eat, what I spend, right? Just because I have money, I'm not going to overspend. But these people have like 3 or 4 shopping carts from our tax money. You know, I try to save, and I don't want to buy steaks all the time. They're buying 5 carts full of steaks and lobster and shrimp and meat. And I look at them and I say, well, now I'm going to go home. They're going to go home, not work, and watch television and eat for free off our taxes. I got to go ride 80, 90, like do 2 shifts of work, 70, 80 hours of work. They're doing 70, 80 hours of sleeping and eating and then getting up and go buy more free food. And then not only that, the rent is subsidized. That means the government, dependent on their money, since they're on welfare, they don't pay rent. The stuff, the rent is free, so now they don't have to work. If they get sick, they get free to go to the doctor, right? The free. So there's no reason for these foreigners to work. But yeah, I'm working, busting my ass, and sometimes I feel, all of us feel bad because they are taking advantage of our programs. Yeah, I mean, 110 million. And I'm not saying that to be racist. I'm being real. Like, if you come here and work, and it's always a particular set of people that does that. The Somalians, they're in here. 85% is on welfare for a long time, more than 10 years. And there's more and more coming, right? And they hate us. The Somalians, they're getting fake nursing home and getting millions from the government, fake daycares. And then when you ask them, can we check your records? They get mad. It's like they want to kill you. They want to, because you're doing your job to find out if there's no fake stuff. If I'm clean, if I'm honest, and they want to check my business, I say, yeah, here's the keys. Check all the paperwork you want. I'm legit. But they don't do that because they're stealing. They push you out. It's a gangs of them in cars. Somalia is one of the worst places in the world. The human level there is like zero. They have no care for humans. It's all about gangs, control, power, and killing. They live so primitive. It's a shame the way that I know it's bad, but now they're bringing that over here. They're stealing. They stole, and it's going to $19 billion in taxes. In the history of the United States, that's the worst. So we let a group of people, because they're in a bad country and they're poor, to come here, and the first thing they do in 10 years, they steal from government tax, from these fake centers that have like, for daycare. They put in there that's for 50 people, for 50 kids, but they only have 4, which is their own kids. They take pictures of them to make it look like a daycare, but it's their kids. So now we're spending millions in taxes to take care of the kids. They're living in a house with 3 brand new luxury cars in a nice neighborhood. They come from living in the dirt, eating bugs, to living like rich people off our money. So they figured this shit out. So again, we let them in here instead of them being productive. The first thing they do, just like in the movies, when they're pirates, the Somalian pirates take over the ships and all that. Just like in the movies, they come in here, they do it in a smart way to take billions. Not millions. Even the millions is terrible. It's pushing 20 billion. Not million, billion in 10 years. So that's the problem there. Let me see. I'm kind of resigned. My page has been watching MAGA people. I had it as a child. It kind of faded. I was like, why did they get care for the cancer? I don't. Well, and I'm from a price for a street rich nation. Like, yeah, I mean, in the history of mankind, the United States is the most powerful people, civilization, right? And we're young. The United States is still fucking young. A few hundred years old, 300 plus years, right? Not thousands. But even in that little bit of time, even with this little bit of people, because we save money, we buy military airplanes, submarines, ships, tanks and all that. We have a strong military. So we also have a strong economy. So in the history of time of man, the United States is the strongest civilization ever, right? The strongest in terms of power, military, and money and all that. But a lot of people come in here, they think because they're nice that we're weak and stupid, we're dumb. You know, we might look like that, but we was able to trap that guy from Iraq, the president, Hussein, living under a tunnel. We grabbed him and obviously took care of business. Same thing with the guy that did the towers. You know, Obama bin Laden, whatever the fuck his name was. They got him from his bedroom. His three girlfriends jumped in. They got shot, and they got him. Just because you do something, we'll get you when you least expect it. You're in bed in an orgy. We're in there. We're gonna grab your ass, and it's not gonna be fun. Same thing with and like that guy from Venezuela, the president. He's sending all these drugs in here like shit, like we were nothing, stealing our oil refineries and just taking shit because we're nice. Well, guess what? Last week he wasn't nice. They grabbed him and his wife, brought him over here. He's in fucking prison now. Now we own that oil, the second best reserves in the world. Now we didn't do that to be bad, but before China goes in there or Russia goes in there and get all that power, guess what? We got the motherfucker for doing the bad thing with drugs, but also because you took our oil in the past. So, we're nice and all that, but it doesn't mean we're weak. The United States, that is. Do you mind getting a... What did you think about... Well, I don't want to get a lot of people... I want you to remember this name. Nick Fuentes. Just kind of remember that name. I know he sounds racist and all that, but literally this guy has a chance, probably will become, after J.D. Vance, the next president. He's leading the MAGA movement when you're talking about that inspired you. But that movement is kind of antiquated and old to some level. Now you have America First. He's leading that movement, Nick Fuentes. And his opinions is, okay, shit happened with with the Jews in the past. They got killed, and all that. And okay, that happened. But that doesn't mean you gotta make that into kind of a religion, just because somebody got killed. And it's terrible what happened, the millions. But at the same token, okay, it happened. So now everybody justifies that as a religion, as a thing in history. Okay, that sucked. Stalin did the same thing, genocides and all that, whatever, right? The thing is, for us to send that kind of money, and most of us are not doing good down here, but you're sending all that money to Israel. I just don't know why. I mean, everybody says the same thing, but then there's a lot of controversy that gets into arguments. I'm just making a statement. My view is a little bit is okay, but to send that much, and now they want more for another 20 years. It's not like a contract, but it's an agreement. Bro, it's... Right, Nick, he's young, right? He's like your age almost. Well, when he was your age, he's like the most canceled man in history because of his strong views. Now he's more laid back. He's more kind of taking it easy. But when Nick came out, he went to college. He wants America back. He's white. His parents, his dad fought in the war here, and his dad's like a little bit of Mexican, but his mom is all white. His dad is Irish and Mexican. So he's predominantly white, but he still understands, the minority of Spanish or whatever. But he sees that the world here, the United States, is being taken over by foreigners. You go out to the malls, there's no more Christmas time stuff, here because that's our religion or whatever. But the point is, it doesn't matter about Christmas. It just matters about when you go out. It just does not feel like America no more. It's bad when I go out. It's just they're talking different languages. I have no idea. They're laughing. Sometimes you feel strange. Are they talking about me? Who cares anyway? But the point is, Nick grew up with apple pie, playing baseball, eating hot dogs, and he wants that back. He's not being racist. I'm not being racist, but I agree with him, and I'm following his movement, America First. He's replacing MAGA. I mean, MAGA is still going to be there, but now his views are going to be focused more on getting our before it goes bad. You got every baby that's born here, 50% is foreign. Every day, as we're talking, every baby that's born here, 50% foreign. If you do the math in 20 years, and these babies could be, they're grown and they're voting, you actually think they're going to give a care about us? They're going to take power away from us. We'll be the third world country in our own country. Your kids, when these foreigners start having more babies like this, 50% more, like every baby born in America is a foreign baby. Can you imagine when they're taking over our government and your kids are treated like crap? They're not going to get fair treatment. They're going to look after their own son. It could be either, it could be either Muslim or whatever race. They're not going to give a F about us. Yeah, I was talking about, I say, jealous of his patrons. Yeah, just, yeah, yeah, he's on Rumble. He's back on YouTube too, but he's back on social media. He was so canceled, he couldn't get credit cards. I don't know if you read about that. He was so canceled because of his statements. He's a social media guy. He's gonna make fucking shit that's gonna get you views. He made a lot of stuff in the past. He said he liked Hitler. He didn't say he agreed to the killings, but that he likes his uniforms. He likes his style. His badass attitude about taking the world, which is big. Is a big difference if you like somebody for what they did. Like he liked his style. We all like certain sports team, their style, but we probably hate them because they're not on our town or whatever the reason. Nick made some things in the past, they didn't seem right. He liked Stalin. Stalin helped us win the war, right? Without him, so he likes him because of that, not because he killed people and he was a bad person. Yeah, I know we all knew Stalin was bad. So he kind of, as a youngster, probably went full force. Now he's holding back and kind of leaning back on his words. He'll tell you what he thinks about Trump, how he breaks promises, right? Doesn't mean he hates Trump. He loves Trump. He had dinner with Trump, in the past, not too long ago. He's not canceled no more. He's coming back, and then, J.D. Vance. I mean, he could influence the election because he doesn't agree with a lot of J.D. Vance, even though he likes the party, he likes Trump and all that, and they're friendly. His views against Vance might have an effect on the election to some level, and he knows that. So now he's cleaning up his act and kind of being more, more on point. YouTube banned a lot of people who created. Yeah, like Steve would do it. He got banned for I don't know if you follow that channel. Steve will do it. Got banned for I think he pushed one of his channels or events. I think it was about casino dealing, and YouTube didn't like that. He didn't do nothing major, but he pushed, and then he was banned for like a year. He got back he's the guy that gives away millions and cars and all that stuff. He's pretty cool guy. Steve would do it. But yeah, they banned him because of that little dumb thing. And he even asked Mr. Beast to help him, and Mr. Beast kind of shunned him off, and he called Mr. Beast out for being fake because he wanted to get, I don't know what kind of help he wanted, but so the point was that, like, basically he yeah, so when he got banned, hold on. So when he got banned, he needed help from Mr. Beast and other people. Bradley, they wanted help with Bradley Martin and all that. I mean, they were there, but Sarah Safari, these are million subscriber channels with a lot of influence. But what he did was a policy infringement, which you really can't do much about when you get fucked on YouTube. You really can't do much. So that's what happened. But he's back now. All these YouTubers, and he's back with his regular channel, not like a different channel. He's back with the one that got suspended. And last month they let him back. So that's all good right there. So, the thing is, like in your country, you have to get rid of certain people, that's there not being productive. Well, Sneeko, yeah, he came back. Sneeko interviewed. Well, Sneeko and Nick Fuentes had Thanksgiving together. I don't know if you knew that in New York. So then I think they did the interview after Thanksgiving. Yeah, they did because he mentioned it. So Sneeko was let back in YouTube at the same time Nick Fuentes, around that time period. But Nick's been killing it on Rumble. So he's making money off of that, obviously. And he has, more fun. I mean, he's a big influencer right now. Nick, I mean, he's going everywhere. To the top podcast, Bradley Martin, Sneeko. But yeah, Sneeko, they're good friends for a while. I don't know if you knew that. Sneeko and Nick Fuentes, they're real good friends. And Sneeko, I remember when I last saw him before this ban, I think, remember when him and Bradley Martin were boxing? I think he broke his teeth out there. Friend Sneeko was. Yeah, yeah. Well, but don't forget that you mean after the ban and all that, after the cancellations on Nick. Nick Nick went on a few platforms, but they all kind of turned on him. Like they're yeah. So Sneeko, given they're friends anyway, well, they became more friends. That's the time when Bradley Martin was boxing Sneeko. Now Bradley Martin's almost 300 pounds of muscle, steroid muscle, and you see Sneeko, what he's like 100, 170 pounds probably. He's all skin and I mean, he has muscle, but he's not big. So Bradley broke his defenses, went straight for his jaw and broke his front tooth. And he showed it on camera that, Bradley Martin just does that shit. Like, steroid rage, I guess. The views. 2023, that's like around COVID, wasn't it? I know they couldn't go out. They were like in seclusion. Yeah. Right. But yeah, I mean, these guys, they all know each other. And he's, believe it or not, Nick used to play baseball. He's pretty athletic, but he's more into into the political arena now. All of his are you busy? No, why? Zoom. No, no. No, well soon I gotta go, but no, I'm good for a little bit. I usually work out without talking on on my two channels, but I think I'm gonna do more running because I put on too much muscle too fast, and my body is kind of playing around here. So I got to keep monitoring blood pressure and sugar. So now I'm going to do less weightlifting and a little bit more cardio. I like doing outside cardio, like walking and running, and because I could read the chat more and be more, um, into the chat. Because when I'm lifting, I just can't. If you see my live videos of lifting, I just do 2 or 3 hours and I'm just hitting the weights. And I can't really talk much because, when you're concentrating lifting, you can't really look at the chat. Well, no, I'm a trucker, so this is my truck here. It's not a car. I work nationwide. Um, I work doing like driving a truck around. Well, if you're happy doing that, it's all about what you love. You could be a car wash attendant, pilot. If you love it, that's the best. Obviously, an engineer, you do have to. My mom was a doctor of business analytics, and I have an associate in computer operations from school, and a minor in social studies. But my computer operations, I use that certification a lot. Same thing with you and your engineering. If you could use it, if you know you can make money off it, then stay for the next 2 years, get your degree. But if you're thinking it's going to be crap, do something that you know what the money is there, because it's about money. It's all about money. And so my advice is, if you love it, whatever it is you're doing, shining shoes, pizza, making food, engineering, the point is loving it. Like YouTube, I've been doing YouTube forever, and I used to get 1,000 to 800 on the live stream, but then the YouTube channels can I used to give advice on how to grow your channel, how to develop your channel, and all that advice. But now everybody's doing that, and it kind of got flooded. So I kind of changed to physical fitness until I decide I'm gonna, But I love YouTube in general. I like giving out information, showing stuff, like inspiring people on business or life fitness. So I do live feeds on that more than anything else. For me, my favorite is doing that. Like I prefer, doing physical fitness. It's just more. It just pumps me up more. And how you paying for that school? I know it's expensive. Do you get free grants? I mean, if they have the money, that's great. Um, but still love, yeah. About the religions, I'm gonna be honest. I live every day. And when the time comes for any religion, any God, anything, if he's there, he's there. I'm just here living now. And, again, I have nothing against no other religions, but that's just me. I was blessed. Grew up in middle class. Oh, okay. My mom was a doctor in business analytics. My dad was a manager for unemployment for the state of Pennsylvania. He went to war. He got the school paid for free. My mom, unfortunately, paid for hers, for her doctorate degree. But, growing up middle class, you can have advantages because when you're poor, all you have is poor people advice, poor people around you. When you're middle class, upper middle class, or whatever, people are self motivated. They have more goals, more values in their belief for anything. So when you have that compared to being poor, you're poor, you're gonna do what poor people does. Even when you're old, you don't care about school, you don't care about, and again, not all of them, but a good majority. So you have your advantages, to be blessed by having, middle class parents because that motivates you. I went to college because both my parents did. My niece, all of my family, all went to college. I love driving. I was driving since I was 7 years old. So I combined driving and business. But if you, like in terms of religion, whatever gods are there, whatever you could call gods or messengers or whatever, angels, when the time comes and you're dead, then you see it and then live it and then be it. But for right now, I'm just living here. You know, whatever religion you are, that's great. I have no problems. My dad is the only one that works in this house, but I'm trying to thanks that to 2025 because it hasn't been easy and my dad never complains, but he definitely would rather not. Oh, it's three kids, yeah. The thing is, when you have a family, work is just work because that's all you work for. When you have kids or wife, things like that, you get up every day and it's easier. I've been a manager and supervisor most of my life in work. When I was in school, even as a little kid, I always took leadership in whatever projects there were. And then when I went to middle school and high school and college, I became the leader of my sports teams. I ran a lot cross country, basketball, football. Football, not that much, but I did like a lot of sports. And, you know, I always looked to be the captain or the leader, and that's what I say. Like when you work, when you're a manager or a supervisor or a leader, you do whatever it takes for your crew, for your people that work for you, for your team, you know, and that's just a human emotion. That's a human trait. Whenever, you would do more for your workers, for your employees, than you would do for yourself. That's just natural. That's just the way the animal kingdom is set up. The same thing with your kids. When you have three kids, you would do whatever it takes. It doesn't matter what it is. That's just natural. So that's personally Muslim. I believe there's only. Yeah, I do, but like I said, it doesn't matter what religion, Catholic, Muslim, Protestant, Christian. When the time comes, the times come. For right now, I'm just here. What do I believe? I believe in everything. That's it. I don't pick one. I know that I'm down here. I know that I'm looking at buildings and cars. I don't see Muhammad. I don't see no angel. I don't see nothing. All this that's written from past people. Okay, I get it, and I respect it. Just like I respect this conversation, right? But right now, what I'm looking at is a truck that was made by a person, food that's made, distributed by people, lakes, highways that's done by people. Until I see a God or a prophet or a Christian from heaven make come down here and save all of us, until that happens, then I'm still gonna be here believing on what I see. And then when the time comes, whatever is up there, whatever is down there, whatever's spiritually, it'll present itself. But for now, since I don't see it, and reading and stuff is different than seeing, like I'm a seer. I believe in seeing and touching stuff. Since I cannot see nothing, since I cannot touch nothing, for now, I'm here with you, and that's it. If you have a religion, I respect that. Yeah, yeah, man, that's great. Yeah, and again, I respect all religions or whatever beliefs. I have nothing against that. Do I study it? Yeah, if I have the time, I would study it because it's interesting. I have nothing against that though. But again, like I said, until I could shake hands with whoever's a God, whoever's a Christian, whoever's a Muslim, whoever's a prophet, until I could shake hands and all that, or any spiritual sense or whatever, for now, I'm just here. I'm just here. Do I believe in it? I know it's something. There's something there. But the different choices, the different sects, the different sections and all that, oh well, that's your personal choice. And I respect that. That's your personal choice. And I respect that. So, you know, oh, okay, appreciate that. And I know that in school, you know, if you believe you can make money once you get the degree, that's what, what I'm saying. Like when I was in school, I knew I could get a job right away when I graduated with a computer certification. And I had a degree in general studies, social studies. I knew I could spread that out, but my main one was that degree in computer operations, and I did. I landed like a lot of jobs in computers, and that's what I'm saying. With your engineering job, I'm not sure if it's social engineering, civil engineering, what kind of it could be engineering for cars, engines. I don't know what engineering you're in, but if you pick a particular engineering, just go for it. Just stay 2 more years, keep pushing for it. I'm gonna call my girlfriend now, so I'll hit you up. You can message me if you want. Tomorrow, like around the same time, probably. I might be at the gym. I may hit some weights. So I'll see you tomorrow. Okay. All right, bro. It's been great. I got to go. Okay. Yeah. Bless you too. I'll see you tomorrow. Okay.